from Kimlee, who is Cherry's maternal grandmother. And in this scene, she has just returned from the doctor who has prescribed her a new blood pressure medication. At the clinic, Dat, her grandson, stayed in the examination room to translate, even though the hospital provided a medical interpreter. Kimlee never trusted translators to tell her everything because they were not family. The nurse checked Kimlee's blood pressure and found it still elevated. Kimlee and Dat listened to the doctor's recommendations to monitor her diet, perform moderate exercise, and limit alcohol consumption. After consulting the most recent blood test, the doctor prescribed another medication. After waiting half an hour at the pharmacy, they finally returned home with a new prescription. Alone in her room, Kimlee pulled out her new medication and held the orange bottle under the bedside lamp. She rattled it and unscrewed the cap, watching as the little yellow tablets spilled neatly across her rosewood nightstand, over the bed, over the edge, and under her bed. Whenever the doctors or her grandchildren would bring up the potential consequences of high blood pressure, she had to laugh. How could they guarantee that if she took this yellow pill in the morning and that blue pill at night, that her quality of life would increase by 15%? Unlike playing the lottery, which was all gain and tiny loss, a person's survival could not be determined by odds. If bad things were going to happen, they were going to happen. The pirates did not care if your boat had a 65% chance to reach Malaysia unscathed. They would threaten and pillage you anyway. There were nearly 40 people on their fishing junk, and though Kimlee had complained that their family had been shoved into the undesirable middle section with no quick access to pee or vomit off the side of the boat, she realized when the pirates appeared how fortunate they were to be protected by so many bodies. Everyone knew who they were, what they wanted, when they saw the boat creeping up the horizon hours earlier. There were only 6 of them. 6 Thai pirates versus 40 Vietnamese refugees. Logic dictated that the Vietnamese could simply overpower 6 thieves whose only weapons were dull fishing knives and rusty razor blades. Yet so many of her boat companions threw over their valuables, hysterically weeping for mercy. Their cowardice incensed Kimlee. The pirates hadn't even bothered to jump on their junk, sluggishly circling the boat and gathering their unearned spoils like monks collecting donations at a temple. This was the laziest pirate attack Kimlee could imagine. Odds had nothing to do with the volume and clarity of her scream. When the pirates drew near enough that she could see the moles on their faces and smell the stench of their ragged clothes, she reached her mouth up to the sky, and with all the breath in her lungs, she wailed and wailed and wailed. Kimlee wasn't even sure what she was saying, if words uttered from her throat or nonsensical guttural moans. But when she felt her son Viet grab her face, press his forehead against hers, and she was finally calm enough to look around the boat, Kimlee realized that it had worked. The pirates had left. The rest of the refugees stared at her, frightened or impressed, she wasn't sure. They said nothing for hours. They simply listened to the waves, dreading the appearance of another boat, but armed with the security of Kimlee's shattering, powerful siren. Later, the other passengers would say the pirates were too lethargic to bother jumping on the boat to slash Kimlee's throat. They'd gotten what they wanted and had left. Kimlee felt these ungrateful dissenters had missed the point. If someone were going to take something from her, she wouldn't allow it to happen quietly. Years later, her children would still have to wake her from these screams. The pressure of Viet's or another child's hands around her shoulders, the soggy texture of the sweat and tear-stained sheets, the warmth of the bed, these sensations returned her to America. She was not on a boat. She was not falling into an ocean. There was no need to shout. And that's it. Thank you.